We have the CTE department here at Cheney High School who is going to be teaching using a tool called Microsoft Teams so that students can learn how to work remotely and collaboratively just like they would in the workplace. I want you to imagine your life after high school. You've got a job and maybe something like COVID-19 happens again, where now you have to be working remotely with all of your colleagues. What are you going to use? Are you going to send emails back and forth? Are you going to make phone calls? I can imagine that your workplace would ask you to use a collaboration tool like Microsoft Teams, just like many of the workplaces in the United States are doing today. So our CTE department is going to be using Microsoft Teams in addition to Google Classroom so that you can learn how to use a workplace tool as well as learn industry standards to get you prepared for your future career. If you think about it, Google and Google Classroom are not tools that are used out in the workplace. Microsoft tools are. Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and all of these pieces integrate into Microsoft Teams along with chatting features, video conferencing, and everything else you would need to be able to collaborate and work with a team virtually. So that's why our team, CTE, is going to be using the tool of Microsoft Teams in addition to Google Classroom.
While Google does have a lot of great tools, and we have been using Google Classroom for a little while, it's not an industry standard tool. Microsoft Teams is used in 91 of the country's 100 largest companies. So if we're going to honor CTE's mission of preparing our students for the workplace, we need to be teaching and using Microsoft Teams. And I was probably like you, where I was really worried about having to learn just another new thing. But the more I use Teams, the more I see why it's the industry standard tool, and the more excited I am about using that tool for collaboration, because it houses everything all in one place and makes accessing your teacher and your classmates and the material a lot simpler.
Teams has excellent collaboration tools. You're able to use different meeting features. For instance, your teacher can schedule meetings, or you and your group members and your class can schedule group meetings that will automatically sync with your Outlook calendar. Or you can use the Meet Now feature, where you simply just call anyone that's in your team or any of your other teams you're using, and it will ring them, either audio or audio and video, and you're able to meet, have quick meetings, just as you would over a phone or over your cell phone, and collaborate with one another. You also can use the chat feature in Teams, which is a lot like text, so you won't have to go to your formal email. You can quickly send some quick chats to your teacher or other classmates asking questions, as well as some posts. Teams also has voicemail, so you can use an audio instead of calling and looking up your teacher's number. You can try and call the teacher when they don't answer because maybe it's out of office hours. Then you can just leave them a voicemail, which will transcribe to them and be there in their activity feed in the morning or in the evening when they check their messages. You can also use Teams for remote access. In other words, your teacher and you can be meeting, and your teacher is able to share their screen, so they can demonstrate software skills or maybe help you edit a paper. And they also have the ability to take control of your screen, so remote control, where they can help you and type in different areas in your documents and your programs. So it's like having one-on-one support, even though you're not in the classroom. Teams also has, as we mentioned earlier, the one-stop shopping. You can use your OneDrive, which is where you have your shared documents, and you can use your OneDrive for, you're going to use Microsoft Office, and that's where you're going to find all your different apps. So you're in one location for all your Microsoft products that you'll be using within Teams, which also allows third party. And finally, you're able to communicate and collaborate from a PC, a laptop, a tablet, or a phone. You are not required to just use one. You can use all of them or just one. Like most Microsoft products, Teams also has accessibility tools. And in those accessibility tools, the top three that students find most helpful one is Dictator, where you're able to speak and it texts or types the message that you're trying to type. So if you have a paper to write, you can dictate and it will type it out for you with a few edits from the student. The second one is Translator. Microsoft Translator allows you in Teams to speak with people with different languages, and it'll translate live for you. It also allows you to type papers or in Word or any of the other programs in one language, and it will translate to a different language, which really helps in the classroom. It also, the third one is Immersive Reader, and it's a strategy for dyslexia, and it helps students focus on different lines. There's different selections to choose from there. So there's different accessibility tools as well as labeling graphs and tables to help all those get the information required through Teams.
So as you can see, Microsoft Teams has a lot of features that we want to get into the hands of our students. We'll still be using Google Classroom as a landing page, but we will also be using the tool of Microsoft Teams to teach our students how to have workplace skills for collaboration, teamwork, and working remotely. So join us in Microsoft Teams so you can start using all the great features.